Hi, I'm Jocelyn Hurley, and this is week 9 for our public law discussion videos. And this week's prompt was to pick a federal agency rule that we disagree with, why we disagree with it, and how we would approach correcting that. So the federal agency rule that I disagree with, but I'll get into why, is the CDC transportation mask mandate during COVID. I think that the premise of it was great. Like, masks were crucial in keeping the public safe during COVID, especially in healthcare and like the hospital industry. And also, if you were like sick, it was really helpful in preventing you spreading that disease to others. And especially for like nursing homes and people with compromised immune systems and just the elderly in general, protecting them from COVID, because COVID was sometimes like life or death for them. So masks in general, I think in that state of emergency, the CDC was absolutely right in making a federal rule mandating them. The reason why I disagree with this rule was because it violated the Administrative Procedure Act, because there was no notice and comment period, and for informal rulemaking, you have to give notice to the public that you have this like rule, and then you allow the public to comment on it and air their grievances, share like what they disagree with, what they like about the rule, and agencies can choose whether or not to take that information and edit the rule, or they can kind of just leave it and let the public just say what they want. But having no notice and comment period violates that act. And it also extended past the power that the enabling statute gave the agency, because the enabling statute gave the power to control the pandemic on a sanitation and preventative issue, and like taking other ways to get that result. But this masking rule, the courts ruled that it was too vague and was overreaching because it wasn't a sanitation issue necessarily, especially in the transportation aspect of it, which this rule was particular to. Especially the courts also argued that public health issues are a state matter and have always been. So the CDC taking control and like really controlling it was kind of wrong. How I would change it, even though it was already overruled and changed, and COVID is obviously still not happening, so the masks don't even matter now. So the case was undone because they determined that the case had mootness in it, which means it had lost its constitutional significance. I would say, in general, you can do the notice and comment period, but since this wasn't available, I think litigation is your best bet in getting a rule overturned. Even though, talking from a historical perspective, the courts usually side with the federal agency's interpretation and what they believe is right, which is really interesting. So whether or not they would agree with you is up for debate, but yeah, that's all I have for this week. But yeah, thank you.